What is shadow work, and why should you care? Have you ever felt an unshakable weight in your mind, a quiet unease that lingers at work or in your personal life, yet you can't quite pinpoint its source? This hidden force might be what psychologists and workplace experts call shadow work, a term that's both intriguing and unsettling, weaving its way into our daily lives, often unnoticed. Shadow work isn't just a buzzword, it's a profound concept that can either heal your soul or drain your energy, depending on how it manifests. In the realm of psychology, shadow work is a transformative journey, diving deep into the unconscious to heal hidden wounds and bring light to the parts of ourselves we've buried. Yet in the workplace, it takes on a darker form, silently fueling burnout and eroding well-being. So what exactly is shadow work, and how can understanding it change the way you navigate life and work? Let's unravel this mystery and discover why now is the time to take control of your shadows. In psychology, shadow work refers to the courageous act of confronting the shadow self, those repressed emotions, fears, and desires we tuck away, hoping they'll never resurface. Coined by Carl Jung, this process involves introspection and self-awareness to integrate these hidden aspects, fostering emotional healing and personal growth. It's a natural, often cathartic journey that aligns mind, body, and spirit, helping you become whole. Imagine uncovering a part of yourself you didn't know existed, only to find it holds the key to your inner peace. This is the power of shadow work in personal life, a path to self-discovery that's as liberating as it is challenging. Contrast this with shadow work in the workplace, where the term takes a more insidious turn. Here, shadow work describes the invisible, unpaid labor that employees often perform tasks like managing emotions to keep the peace, navigating office politics, or handling unacknowledged responsibilities that pile up without recognition. Think of the endless emails you answer after hours, the mental load of keeping a team cohesive, or the pressure to always appear professional despite personal struggles. These unseen efforts contribute significantly to burnout, a growing epidemic in today's fast-paced work culture. Studies suggest that unaddressed workplace shadow work is a leading cause of stress, with over 70% of employees reporting symptoms of burnout in recent global surveys. Left unchecked, it can sap your energy, diminish productivity, and harm your mental health. So how do you balance the healing potential of psychological shadow work with the draining reality of workplace shadow work? The first step is awareness, recognizing when you're carrying an invisible load and taking action to set boundaries. Prioritizing self-care, seeking supportive workplace policies, and practicing mindful reflection can transform how you engage with both forms of shadow work. Curious to learn more about taming your shadows and reclaiming your energy? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. What's one hidden task you're juggling at work or in life? Subscribe for practical tips and insights on mastering shadow work to live a more balanced, fulfilling life. Let's uncover the shadows together. Defining shadow work and the shadow self. Shadow work, a concept rooted in Carl Jung's analytical psychology, is the process of exploring and integrating the unconscious parts of our psyche, known as the shadow self. The shadow, as defined in a critical dictionary of Jungian analysis by Samuel Shorter and Plout 1986, is the thing a person has no wish to be. It encompasses traits, emotions, and impulses we suppress or deny because they conflict with our conscious identity or persona, the curated mask we present to the world. While the persona reflects qualities we embrace, such as kindness or professionalism, the shadow holds what we hide. Insecurities, desires, or behaviors deemed unacceptable by ourselves or society. Shadow work involves bringing these hidden elements into awareness, not to eliminate them, but to understand and integrate them, fostering psychological wholeness. The shadow self is universal, formed through a lifetime of experiences where we learn to repress certain aspects to fit in. For example, a child discouraged from showing anger might bury that emotion only for it to resurface later as irritability or passive aggressiveness. The shadow isn't inherently negative. It can include positive traits like creativity, stifled by fear of judgment. Jung emphasized that ignoring the shadow leads to inner conflict, as these repressed elements influence our behavior unconsciously. Shadow work, then, is about reclaiming these parts to live more authentically, reducing the gap between who we are and who we present to the world. The shadow develops early in life as we navigate social expectations. Parents, teachers, and cultural norms shape what's acceptable, prompting us to suppress traits that don't align. For instance, a child praised for being quiet might repress their natural exuberance, relegating it to the shadow. Over time, these suppressed elements, anger, ambition, vulnerability, accumulate, forming a complex unconscious layer. Cultural factors also play a role in collectivist societies. Individuality might be suppressed while in competitive environments. Compassion might be hidden to appear strong. The shadow isn't static, it evolves with new experiences. A traumatic event like rejection might deepen feelings of unworthiness in the shadow. Social pressures such as workplace expectations to always appear confident can further bury authentic emotions. The shadow's contents are unique to each person, shaped by personal history and societal context, making shadow work a deeply individualized process. The shadow reveals itself in subtle yet powerful ways, often through behaviors or emotions that surprise us. Jung noted that the shadow is most visible in projection when we attribute our disowned traits to others. Below are common manifestations of the shadow drawn from Jungian theory and the provided examples with insights into how they operate. Judgmental tendencies, harshly criticizing others, often reflects shadow traits. If you judge someone for being too emotional, it might point to your own suppressed sensitivity, which you've learnt to view as weakness. Envy of another's success can signal unacknowledged desires in your shadow. For example, resenting a friend's promotion might reveal your own suppressed ambition or feelings of inadequacy. Persistent self-doubt often stems from shadow elements like shame or fear of failure, rooted in past experiences of criticism or rejection. Uncontrolled anger, sudden outbursts or suppressed rage are classic shadow expressions. Someone who prides themselves on calmness might be shocked by their temper, indicating repressed anger in the shadow. Victim mentality. Constantly seeing oneself as a victim can mask a shadow desire for control or validation. This behavior often stems from unaddressed feelings of powerlessness, hidden prejudices, biases we don't consciously endorse, such as stereotypes, reside in the shadow and influence our actions subtly. Shadow work involves confronting these to foster empathy. Suppressed desires, shame about unconventional interests like a passion deemed antisocial, can lead to their burial in the shadow, causing inner conflict when they surface. Ruthlessness. A drive to achieve goals at others' expense, such as through manipulation, can reflect shadow traits like ambition or insecurity, hidden to maintain a good persona. Savior complex. The urge to rescue others may stem from a shadow need to feel needed or superior, masking insecurities about one's own worth. These manifestations show the shadow's complexity. It's not just about flaws, but any trait we've disowned. Recognizing these signs is the first step in shadow work, as it reveals what lies beneath our conscious awareness. Shadow work is a deliberate introspective process that requires courage and patience. Its goal is to integrate the shadow into the conscious self, reducing its unconscious influence. Here's a detailed guide to practicing shadow work grounded in Jungian principles. Start by noticing patterns in your behavior or emotions. Journaling is a powerful tool. Write about moments when you felt triggered, ashamed, or out of character. Ask questions like, what do I criticize in others? What emotions do I avoid? Triggers often point to shadow elements. For example, irritation at a colleague's arrogance might reflect your own suppressed confidence. Once you identify a shadow trait, trace its roots. Was it shaped by childhood experiences, societal norms, or trauma? For instance, low self-esteem might stem from a parent's criticism, while suppressed anger could relate to being taught that it's unacceptable. Therapy, especially Jungian analysis, can help uncover these origins, offering a safe space to explore painful memories. Acceptance is key to shadow work. This doesn't mean endorsing harmful behaviors, but acknowledging their existence. If you discover a shadow tendency toward jealousy, recognize it as a human response rather than a flaw. This step requires self-compassion, as the shadow often holds painful emotions. Integration involves finding healthy ways to express shadow traits. For example, repressed anger might be channeled into assertive communication or physical exercise. Positive shadow traits like hidden creativity can be embraced through new hobbies or self-expression. The goal is to align the shadow with your conscious self, creating a more cohesive identity. Shadow work is a lifelong practice. As you grow, new shadow elements may emerge. Regular self-check-ins through meditation, journaling, or discussions with trusted friends keep the process alive. Mindfulness practices help you stay attuned to your emotions, catching shadow manifestations early. Several tools can support shadow work, making it more accessible. Write about your triggers, dreams, or recurring emotions. Prompts like, what do I hide from others, can reveal shadow traits. Mindfulness meditation helps you observe thoughts and emotions without judgment, creating space to explore the shadow. A therapist trained in Jungian or depth psychology can guide you through shadow work, offering insights and support. Jung believed dreams are a gateway to the unconscious. Note recurring themes or symbols in your dreams, as they often reflect shadow content. Art, music, or writing can externalize shadow emotions, making them easier to process. Engaging in shadow work yields profound benefits, transforming how you relate to yourself and others. Enhanced self-awareness. Understanding your shadow reveals why you act or feel certain ways, boosting emotional intelligence. Healthier relationships. By owning your shadow traits, you reduce projection, leading to fewer conflicts and deeper connections. Emotional healing. Confronting suppressed emotions like shame or fear releases their hold, fostering inner peace. Personal growth. Integrating the shadow allows you to embrace your full self, unlocking creativity and authenticity. Reduced inner conflict. Aligning conscious and unconscious selves creates a sense of wholeness, easing feelings of fragmentation. Research supports these benefits. A 2018 study in the Journal of Analytical Psychology found that individuals practicing shadow work reported lower anxiety and greater self-acceptance over time. By facing the shadow, you reclaim agency over your psyche. Challenges of shadow work. Shadow work is not easy. Confronting repressed emotions can evoke discomfort, fear, or shame. For example, acknowledging hidden prejudices might challenge your self-image as a good person. The process requires vulnerability, which can feel overwhelming. Pacing yourself and seeking support through therapy or trusted confidence helps manage these challenges. Cultural context also complicates shadow work. In societies where emotions like anger are stigmatized, accessing the shadow may feel taboo. Similarly, collectivist cultures might discourage individuality, making it harder to embrace shadow traits like ambition. Awareness of these influences can guide your approach. Shadow work isn't confined to formal practices. It can be woven into everyday life. When you feel triggered, pause and reflect. What does this say about me if you're envious of a friend's success? Explore whether it reflects your own unfulfilled goals. In relationships, shadow work can shift dynamics. Instead of blaming a partner for causing your anger, you might recognize it as a shadow fear of rejection, opening the door to honest communication. At work, shadow work can help navigate conflicts. If a colleague's behavior frustrates you, consider whether it mirrors a disowned trait like impatience. This perspective fosters empathy and reduces tension. Over time, these small acts of self-inquiry build a habit of shadow awareness. The shadow doesn't just exist in individuals, it appears in collective forms such as societal biases or cultural taboos. For example, a society that stigmatizes mental health issues might create collective shadow elements of shame around vulnerability. Engaging in personal shadow work can ripple outward, promoting greater empathy and understanding in communities. Shadow work is a transformative journey into the unconscious, where we confront the parts of ourselves we've hidden, whether out of shame, fear, or societal pressure. Rooted in Carl Jung's philosophy, it offers a path to self-awareness, emotional healing, and authentic living. By identifying, exploring, and integrating shadow traits, we reduce their unconscious influence, fostering healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. Though challenging, the rewards of shadow work are profound, unlocking a deeper connection to our humanity. What's in your shadow? Reflect on this. What's one emotion or trait you've pushed aside, and how might it shape your life? Share your thoughts below and join the conversation about embracing the hidden self. Subscribe for more insights and practical tips to navigate shadow work, and let's uncover the shadows together. The hidden burden of unseen labor. Shadow work in the workplace refers to the invisible, unpaid, or unacknowledged tasks that employees are expected to perform despite these duties falling outside their formal job descriptions. Unlike the psychological concept of shadow work, which involves introspective healing, workplace shadow work encompasses the labor that goes unrecognized yet is critical to keeping operations running smoothly. These tasks are often taken for granted, rarely compensated, and frequently contribute to employee burnout. In today's fast-paced work environment, many organizations implicitly rely on employees to handle responsibilities that were once assigned to others or not formally assigned at all. This phenomenon, rooted in evolving workplace dynamics, places a significant burden on individuals, impacting their mental health, productivity, and work-life balance. Understanding the nature of workplace shadow work, its manifestations, and strategies to address it is essential for fostering healthier work environments. Workplace shadow work manifests in various forms, often blending seamlessly into daily routines, making it difficult to recognize. Below are key examples that illustrate the scope of this hidden labor. Checking and responding to emails outside work hours. Many employees find themselves answering work-related emails late at night or on weekends, driven by the expectation of constant availability. This task, while seemingly minor, extends work hours, without compensation eroding personal time. Studies such as one from the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology 2020 show that after-hours email communication increases stress and reduces job satisfaction. Attending unpaid meetings or training sessions, employees are often required to participate in meetings or training programs that fall outside their paid hours or core responsibilities. For instance, a marketing professional might be asked to attend a compliance training session unrelated to their role, adding to their workload without recognition or additional pay. Performing administrative or clerical tasks. Employees frequently take on administrative duties, such as scheduling meetings, organizing files, or managing team logistics that are not part of their job description. These tasks, often seen as supportive rather than central, go unacknowledged, yet they consume significant time and energy. Providing uncompensated customer service or technical support in roles where customer interaction is not the primary focus, employees may still be expected to handle complaints, troubleshoot issues, or provide technical guidance. For example, a software developer might spend hours assisting clients with software issues, a task typically assigned to a dedicated support team without additional pay or credit. These examples highlight how shadow work infiltrates daily routines, often under the guise of teamwork or going the extra mile. While these tasks may seem minor individually, their cumulative effect can be substantial, leading to overwork and burnout. The invisible nature of shadow work makes it a significant contributor to workplace stress and burnout. According to a 2023 Gallup study, 76% of employees globally reported experiencing burnout symptoms, with unacknowledged workload cited as a primary factor. Shadow work demands time and mental energy without offering tangible rewards, such as promotions, raises, or even verbal recognition. This lack of acknowledgement can lead to feelings of resentment, disengagement, and diminished job satisfaction. Mentally, shadow work creates a cognitive load that employees carry even outside the workplace. Constantly checking emails after hours, for instance, prevents individuals from fully disconnecting, leading to chronic stress and reduced mental well-being. Physically, the strain of extended work hours can manifest as fatigue, sleep disturbances, or other health issues. A 2021 study in The Lancet linked excessive workloads, including unpaid tasks, to increased risks of cardiovascular problems and anxiety disorders. Moreover, shadow work disproportionately affects certain groups. Women, for example, are often expected to take on emotional labor tasks, such as organizing team events or mediating conflicts, which are rarely part of their official roles. A 2019 study in Gender and Society found that women spend significantly more time on such tasks than men, contributing to gender inequities in career advancement. Similarly, junior employees, or those in underrepresented groups, may feel pressured to perform shadow work to prove their worth, further exacerbating workplace inequalities. Shadow work persists due to a combination of organizational, cultural, and technological factors. First, many companies have streamlined operations by reducing support staff, shifting responsibilities onto existing employees. For example, the elimination of administrative assistants in many organizations has left professionals handling clerical tasks themselves. Second, workplace cultures that glorify hustle or team players often normalize shadow work, framing it as a necessary part of career success. Employees may feel compelled to comply to avoid appearing uncommitted. Technology also plays a role. The rise of remote work and digital communication tools like email and instant messaging platforms has blurred the boundaries between work and personal life. A 2022 report from Microsoft found that 62% of employees feel pressured to respond to work messages outside regular hours, driven by the accessibility of these tools. Additionally, unclear job descriptions and poor management practices can lead to scope creep, where employees take on tasks beyond their roles without formal acknowledgement. Addressing shadow work requires a multifaceted approach involving employees, managers, and organizations. Below are practical strategies to mitigate its impact and promote a healthier work environment. Employees can reduce shadow work by establishing firm boundaries. For instance, setting specific times for checking emails or politely declining tasks outside one's role can help reclaim personal time. Communicating these boundaries professionally, such as informing colleagues that you're unavailable after 6 p.m., sets expectations without compromising teamwork. Employees should advocate for acknowledgement of shadow work. This might involve discussing uncompensated tasks during performance reviews or proposing that such duties be included in job descriptions with appropriate compensation. Transparency about workload helps managers understand the extent of shadow work being performed. Using tools like task trackers or time blocking techniques can help employees prioritize core responsibilities and minimize time spent on shadow work. For example, dedicating specific hours to administrative tasks can prevent them from spilling into personal time. Managers play a critical role in addressing shadow work. They should regularly review team workloads to ensure tasks align with job roles. Open communication channels such as one-on-one meetings allow employees to voice concerns about unacknowledged duties. Managers can also advocate for resources like additional staff or automation tools to reduce shadow work. Organizations must take responsibility for minimizing shadow work. This includes updating job descriptions to reflect actual responsibilities, providing adequate support staff, and fostering a culture that values work-life balance. Policies like no email hours or compensated overtime for additional tasks can reduce the burden of shadow work. Training programs to educate employees and managers about recognizing and addressing shadow work can also be effective. To counteract the stress of shadow work, employees should prioritize self-care. Regular exercise mindfulness practices and adequate rest can mitigate the physical and mental toll of unpaid labor. Seeking support from colleagues, mentors, or mental health professionals can also provide strategies for coping with workplace stress. Creating a workplace culture that values transparency and fairness is crucial for reducing shadow work. Leaders should model healthy boundaries, such as refraining from sending emails outside work hours. Recognizing and rewarding all contributions, including those typically considered shadow work, fosters a sense of fairness. For example, publicly acknowledging an employee's efforts in organizing a team event can validate their work and encourage equitable task distribution. Organizations should also conduct regular audits of employee workloads to identify shadow work. Anonymous surveys can reveal hidden tasks that employees feel pressured to perform. By addressing these findings, companies can redistribute responsibilities or hire additional staff to alleviate the burden. The prevalence of shadow work reflects broader societal trends, such as the gig economy and the expectation of constant productivity. As workplaces evolve, addressing shadow work becomes a matter of equity and sustainability. Employees who are overburdened with unpaid tasks are less likely to innovate or engage, fully impacting organizational success. Conversely, workplaces that minimize shadow work see higher employee retention and productivity, as shown in a 2024 Harvard Business Review study, which linked clear role definitions to a 20% increase in job satisfaction. On a societal level, reducing shadow work can promote gender and social equity. By ensuring that tasks like emotional labor or administrative duties are fairly distributed, and compensated organizations can address systemic biases that disproportionately affect certain groups. This shift contributes to a more inclusive and supportive work environment. Consider Emily, a project manager who spends hours each week answering client emails after hours, a task not in her job description. By setting a boundary, such as responding only during work hours and discussing the issue with her manager, she reduces her stress and reclaims personal time. Similarly, a retail employee, Mark, is often asked to handle customer complaints despite being hired for inventory management. By advocating for a dedicated support team, he helps redistribute these tasks, allowing him to focus on his core role. Workplace shadow work, unpaid, unacknowledged tasks outside one's job description is a pervasive issue that contributes to burnout and inequity. From answering emails after hours to performing administrative duties, these tasks drain employees' time and energy without recognition. Addressing shadow work requires clear boundaries, advocacy for recognition, and organizational changes to ensure fair task distribution. By fostering a culture that values transparency and work-life balance, companies can reduce the burden of shadow work, enhancing employee well-being and productivity. Have you encountered shadow work in your job? Share one task you're juggling that goes unnoticed, and let's discuss how to address it. Subscribe for more insights on navigating workplace challenges and achieving balance. Using shadow work to combat burnout. Shadow work, rooted in Carl Jung's analytical psychology, is a powerful tool for addressing burnout by fostering deep self-awareness and understanding of one's emotions, needs, values, and goals. Burnout often stems from chronic stress driven by unacknowledged emotional burdens or misaligned priorities. By engaging in shadow work, individuals explore the unconscious parts of their psyche, the shadow self, where repressed feelings like fear, shame, or inadequacy reside. This process begins with introspection, often through journaling or meditation, to identify triggers of stress. For example, someone overwhelmed by work might discover that their drive to overperform stems from a shadow fear of failure rooted in past criticism. Recognizing these patterns allows individuals to align their actions with their true values, reducing the compulsion to overwork. By embracing all aspects of themselves without fear of judgment or guilt, people gain clarity about their limits and capabilities. This self-awareness empowers them to set realistic boundaries, such as saying no to excessive tasks, which directly mitigates burnout. A 2021 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found that self-awareness practices reduced burnout symptoms by 25% in high-stress professions, highlighting the efficacy of this approach. Burnout is often fueled by limiting beliefs, fears, and insecurities that push individuals to overextend themselves. Shadow work helps identify and challenge these unconscious barriers. For instance, someone might believe they must always be productive to be valued, a belief rooted in societal pressures or past experiences. Through shadow work, they can confront this belief by exploring its origins, perhaps a childhood where praise was tied to achievement. Journaling prompts like, "What beliefs drive my need to overwork?" or "What am I afraid will happen if I slow down?" can uncover these shadow elements. Once identified, these beliefs can be reframed. For example, replacing "I must always be busy" with "My worth is inherent, not tied to output," reduces the pressure to overperform. This shift alleviates stress and prevents burnout by allowing individuals to prioritize meaningful work over relentless task endurance. Cognitive behavioral techniques, often paired with shadow work, can further support this process. as shown in a 2020 Journal of Occupational Health study, which linked reframing limiting beliefs to a 30% reduction in workplace stress. Shadow work unlocks creativity by encouraging individuals to embrace their full selves, including traits they've suppressed due to self-doubt or fear of judgment. Burnout often dulls creativity, leaving people feeling stuck in repetitive, draining routines. By exploring the shadow, individuals can uncover hidden talents or ideas they've hesitated to express. For example, someone who feels inferior about their artistic abilities might discover through shadow work that this insecurity stems from a past rejection. By accepting this shadow trait, they can confidently explore creative outlets such as writing or problem solving, which serve as healthy stress relievers. This creative expression not only counteracts burnout, but also enhances job satisfaction. For instance, a marketing professional might propose innovative campaigns after embracing their suppressed creativity, finding renewed purpose in their role. Research from Creativity Research Journal 2019 indicates that creative engagement reduces burnout by fostering a sense of accomplishment and joy, making shadow work a vital tool for unlocking this potential. Shadow work cultivates a more authentic, balanced, and integrated sense of self, enabling individuals to handle stress and change more effectively. Burnout often arises when people feel disconnected from their true selves, forced to conform to external expectations. By integrating the shadow, acknowledging both strengths and vulnerabilities, individuals develop resilience. For example, someone who suppresses anger to appear professional might experience burnout from the emotional toll of this repression. Through shadow work, they can accept their anger as a valid emotion, learning to express it constructively, such as through assertive communication. This integration creates a cohesive identity that adapts to challenges without crumbling under pressure. Mindfulness practices often used in shadow work enhance this resilience by keeping individuals grounded. A 2022 Mindfulness Journal study found that integrated self-awareness reduced burnout rates by 20% in corporate settings, as participants reported better stress management and emotional regulation. Unresolved traumas, wounds, or conflicts from the past often contribute to burnout by influencing present behaviors and relationships. Shadow work provides a framework for healing these wounds by bringing them into conscious awareness. For example, someone who experienced rejection in childhood might overwork to seek approval, leading to exhaustion. Through shadow work, they can explore this trauma, perhaps through therapy or guided reflection, and release its hold. This healing process involves acknowledging the pain, understanding its impact, and reframing the narrative. For instance, recognizing that past rejection doesn't define current worth can reduce the need to overcompensate. This emotional release alleviates the chronic stress that fuels burnout. A 2023 Journal of Trauma and Dissociation study found that addressing past traumas through introspective practices reduced workplace stress by 28%, underscoring shadow work's role in healing. Accepting the shadow self, embracing even its darker aspects, fosters self-acceptance, which is crucial for combating burnout. When individuals fully accept their flaws, they release the guilt or shame that drives overwork. This self-acceptance extends to others, cultivating empathy and tolerance. For example, someone who accepts their own impatience is less likely to judge a colleague's similar behavior, fostering better workplace relationships. This empathy reduces interpersonal stress, a common burnout trigger. By building a supportive network of colleagues and friends, individuals create a buffer against burnout. Shadow work encourages this by promoting honest communication and mutual understanding. For instance, sharing vulnerabilities with a coworker might lead to collaborative problem-solving, easing workload pressures. A 2021 Journal of Applied Psychology study showed that empathetic workplace relationships decreased burnout by 22%, highlighting the power of shadow work in fostering connection. Shadow work encourages openness to learning from others, which can alleviate burnout by broadening perspectives and reducing isolation. By embracing their shadow, individuals become more tolerant and receptive, allowing them to absorb knowledge from colleagues or mentors. For example, observing how a coworker manages stress might inspire new coping strategies, such as time blocking or mindfulness. This learning process involves reflection and evaluation, key components of shadow work. By assessing their own behaviors, perhaps through journaling about workplace challenges, individuals identify areas for growth. This continuous learning fosters progress and resilience, counteracting burnout stagnation. A 2020 human resource management study found that employees who engaged in reflective learning reported 18% lower burnout rates as they felt more empowered to adapt and grow. Implementing shadow work to address burnout involves practical, actionable steps. Write about stress triggers. Asking questions like, what emotions arise when I feel overwhelmed? Or what past experiences drive my work habits? This uncovers shadow elements contributing to burnout. Practice mindfulness to observe emotions without judgment. A 10-minute daily meditation can help identify shadow fears or insecurities, reducing their unconscious influence. Work with a Jungian therapist or coach to explore deep-seated traumas or beliefs. Professional guidance ensures safe navigation of intense emotions. Engage in creative activities like drawing or writing to express shadow emotions. This provides a healthy release, reducing stress. Use shadow work insights to establish boundaries such as limiting after-hours work. Communicate these boundaries clearly to colleagues. Foster empathetic relationships by sharing vulnerabilities with trusted colleagues, creating a supportive environment that mitigates burnout. Shadow work can be emotionally intense as it involves confronting painful truths. For example, acknowledging a fear of failure might evoke discomfort. Pacing the process and seeking support from therapists or peers is crucial. Cultural factors also influence shadow work. In high-pressure work, cultures admitting vulnerabilities might feel risky. Employees should approach shadow work gradually, focusing on small, manageable steps. In practice, shadow work can transform workplace dynamics. Consider Lisa, a manager who feels burned out from constant overwork. Through journaling, she discovers a shadow belief that her worth depends on productivity. By challenging this, she sets boundaries, delegating tasks and reducing after-hours emails. This not only alleviates her burnout, but also inspires her team to prioritize balance. Similarly, a teacher, Mark, uses shadow work to address his savior complex, which drives him to take on extra responsibilities. By accepting this trait, he delegates tasks, reducing his workload and stress. Shadow work offers a transformative approach to combating burnout by addressing its root causes through self-awareness, healing, and empathy. By exploring the shadow self, individuals uncover limiting beliefs, unleash creativity, and build resilience, all of which counteract the chronic stress of burnout. Practical steps like journaling, mindfulness, and boundary setting make shadow work accessible, while its focus on self-acceptance fosters healthier relationships and personal growth. What's one hidden stress driving your burnout? Share below and explore how shadow work can help you reclaim balance. Subscribe for more strategies to navigate stress and thrive. Shadow work for career development. Shadow work, a concept rooted in Carl Jung's analytical psychology, involves exploring the unconscious parts of the psyche, known as the shadow self, to foster personal growth and self-awareness. In the context of career development, shadow work extends beyond personal introspection to include workplace practices like job shadowing, which allows employees to observe and sometimes perform tasks of colleagues in different roles. This dual approach, combining psychological shadow work with practical job shadowing, offers a powerful framework for professional growth. By engaging in job shadowing, employees gain insights into new roles, required skills, and challenges, while psychological shadow work helps them confront unconscious traits that influence their career aspirations. Together, these practices enable individuals to explore career paths, align their goals with their authentic selves, and address barriers like projection that hinder professional progress. Job shadowing as a form of on-the-job learning involves closely observing or assisting a colleague in their role to understand its nuances. For example, a junior marketer might shadow a senior strategist to learn about campaign planning, gaining clarity on the skills needed for advancement. Simultaneously, psychological shadow work encourages individuals to recognize their shadow traits, such as insecurities or suppressed ambitions, by observing how they react to others' behaviors. This self-awareness helps employees identify career aspirations that align with their true values rather than external pressures. A 2022 study in the Journal of Career Development found that employees who engaged in reflective practices like shadow work reported a 27% increase in career satisfaction, highlighting its impact on professional growth. Projection is a key mechanism through which the shadow self operates, particularly in the workplace. It occurs when individuals attribute their own undesirable traits, such as impatience or fear of failure, onto others, ignoring these qualities in themselves. For example, an employee who criticizes a colleague for being too ambitious might be projecting their own suppressed desire for success, which they've been conditioned to view as selfish. This projection can create workplace tension and hinder career development by obscuring personal goals. Shadow work addresses projection by encouraging individuals to recognize these unconscious tendencies through observation and reflection. In job shadowing, projection becomes a valuable lens for self-discovery. By observing others, employees may notice reactions that reveal their shadow traits. For instance, feeling envious of a colleague's confidence during a presentation might indicate a hidden desire to develop similar skills. By acknowledging this, individuals can reframe their envy as motivation to pursue public speaking training, aligning their career path with their authentic aspirations. Addressing projection through shadow work fosters self-awareness, reduces interpersonal conflicts, and opens new avenues for professional growth. A 2021 Journal of Organizational Behavior study noted that employees who address projection through reflective practices improved workplace relationships by 22%, enhancing their career progression. Shadow work, both psychological and practical, offers numerous benefits for career development. Enhanced self-awareness. By exploring the shadow self, employees gain insight into their emotions, values, and motivations. This clarity helps them identify roles that align with their strengths and passions, reducing the risk of pursuing unfulfilling career paths. Uncovering hidden aspirations. Shadow work reveals suppressed ambitions such as a desire for leadership or creative roles that employees might have dismissed due to fear or societal expectations. Job shadowing complements this by exposing them to new possibilities within their organization. Improved interpersonal skills, recognizing and integrating shadow traits reduces projection, fostering empathy and better collaboration. This strengthens workplace relationships, which are critical for career advancement. Skill development. Job shadowing provides hands-on exposure to new skills, while psychological shadow work builds emotional resilience, enabling employees to adapt to challenges like workplace stress or role transitions. Authentic career alignment. By integrating the shadow self, employees make career choices that reflect their true selves, leading to greater job satisfaction and long-term success. A 2023 Career Development Quarterly study found that employees who combined observational learning, like job shadowing, with introspective practices reported a 30% increase in career clarity, underscoring the synergy of these approaches. Practical strategies for implementing shadow work in career development. To leverage shadow work for career development, employees can combine job shadowing with psychological introspection. Below are practical strategies inspired by the provided suggestions to implement shadow work effectively in the workplace. Participating in cross-departmental meetings exposes employees to diverse roles and responsibilities. For example, a sales associate attending a product development meeting might observe skills like strategic planning, sparking interest in a new career path. Reflecting on emotional reactions during these meetings, such as discomfort with technical jargon, can reveal shadow insecurities, prompting targeted skill development. Volunteering for projects outside one's role, such as supporting a marketing campaign, provides hands-on experience and insight into different functions. This also allows employees to observe their shadow reactions, like frustration when tasks feel unfamiliar, which might indicate a fear of incompetence. Addressing this through shadow work can boost confidence and adaptability. Interviewing administrative and professional staff about their roles offers a deeper understanding of job requirements and challenges. Asking questions like, what skills are most critical for your role, or what challenges do you face, can clarify career paths. Reflecting on feelings during these interviews, such as envy or self-doubt, helps uncover shadow traits that influence career decisions. Interacting with customers under the guidance of an experienced colleague provides insight into client-facing roles. For example, shadowing a customer service representative might reveal the importance of empathy, prompting reflection on one's own suppressed emotional expressiveness. This can lead to personal growth and interest in roles requiring strong interpersonal skills. Spending time with employees in desired roles. System roles offers hands-on experience and a deeper understanding of job functions. For instance, a junior analyst shadowing a senior data scientist might observe complex analytical techniques, gaining clarity on required skills. Reflecting on feelings of inadequacy during this process can reveal shadow insecurities about competence, allowing the individual to address these through targeted skill building or self-acceptance. By integrating these observations with psychological shadow work, employees can align their career paths with their authentic aspirations, fostering both personal and professional growth. Visiting different departments or facilities within the organization provides a broader perspective on operational workflows. For example, touring a manufacturing plant might spark interest in operations management. Observing emotional reactions such as feeling out of place can highlight shadow fears of not belonging, which can be addressed through self-reflection to build confidence in new environments. Studying the company's organizational chart and mission statement clarifies how roles align with corporate goals. An employee might discover a passion for aligning team efforts with the company's vision. Reflecting on discomfort with hierarchical structures might reveal a shadow aversion to authority, which can be reframed to embrace collaboration within the system. Learning about workplace policies ensures employees understand expectations and boundaries. Noticing resistance to certain rules might indicate a shadow need for autonomy, which can be channeled into roles that offer greater independence, such as project management. Researching industry developments helps employees identify emerging opportunities. For instance, learning about AI advancements might inspire a shift toward tech-focused roles. Feelings of overwhelm during this research could point to a shadow fear of change, which shadow work can help reframe as an opportunity for growth. Investigating open positions within the company or industry clarifies career options. Shadowing a role like HR management might reveal a knack for people-oriented tasks. Envy of others' roles might indicate suppressed ambitions which can be explored through shadow work to align career goals authentically. Engaging with leadership provides insights into strategic decision-making. For example, observing a CEO's communication style might inspire leadership aspirations. Feelings of intimidation during these interactions could reveal a shadow fear of authority, which can be addressed to foster confidence in high-level engagements. Shadow work, both psychological and practical, can be challenging. Psychologically confronting shadow traits like fear of failure or suppressed ambition can evoke discomfort or vulnerability. Employees should approach this process gradually, using tools like journaling or therapy to process emotions safely. Job shadowing may also present challenges, such as feeling out of place or inadequate when observing unfamiliar roles. Reflecting on these feelings as shadow elements, perhaps a fear of not measuring up, can transform them into motivation for skill development. Cultural and workplace dynamics also influence shadow work. In hierarchical organizations, employees might hesitate to explore new roles due to fear of overstepping boundaries. Similarly, in competitive industries, admitting vulnerabilities might feel risky. Combining job shadowing with psychological reflection helps employees navigate these challenges by fostering resilience and clarity. Consider Sarah, a junior accountant who shadows a financial analyst and feels intimidated by their expertise. Through shadow work, she identifies a shadow fear of inadequacy rooted in past criticism. By reframing this fear as a growth opportunity, she pursues advanced analytical training, aligning her career with her newfound confidence. Similarly, John, an IT specialist, shadows a cybersecurity expert and feels envious of their problem-solving skills. Reflecting on this envy reveals his suppressed desire for challenging work, prompting him to transition into a cybersecurity role, reducing career stagnation. To maximize the benefits of shadow work, employees should integrate psychological and practical approaches into their career planning. Regularly journaling about shadowing experiences, noting both technical insights and emotional reactions, helps uncover shadow traits and career aspirations. For example, documenting discomfort during a leadership shadowing session might reveal a fear of responsibility which can be addressed through coaching or self-reflection. Seeking mentorship or career counseling can further guide employees in aligning their shadow work insights with long-term goals. Organizations can support this process by fostering a culture of learning and openness, offering structured job shadowing programs, encouraging reflective practices, and recognizing employees' efforts to explore new roles, create an environment where shadow work thrives. A 2024 Harvard Business Review study found that organizations with robust learning programs saw a 25% increase in employee retention as workers felt empowered to grow. Shadow work, combining psychological introspection with job shadowing, is a transformative approach to career development. By observing colleagues and reflecting on emotional reactions, employees uncover shadow traits like projection or suppressed ambitions, gaining clarity on their career paths. Practical strategies such as attending meetings, assisting with projects or meeting executives provide hands-on exposure to new roles, while psychological shadow work aligns these experiences with authentic aspirations. This dual approach fosters self-awareness, skill development, and resilience, enabling employees to pursue fulfilling careers. What's one reaction you've noticed while observing a colleague's role? Share below and explore how shadow work can guide your career journey. Subscribe for more strategies to unlock your professional potential through shadow work. Personal opinion on shadow work and job shadowing. Shadow work, encompassing both the psychological exploration of the shadow self and the practical practice of job shadowing, is a multifaceted concept that holds immense potential for personal and professional growth. Drawing from Carl Jung's framework and the practical application of observing colleagues in the workplace, shadow work offers a unique blend of introspection and experiential learning. In my view, it is neither inherently good nor bad, but rather a tool that, when wielded thoughtfully, can unlock profound self-awareness and career development. However, its effectiveness depends on how it's approached, and missteps can lead to challenges. Below, I share my perspective on its benefits, potential pitfalls, and the balance needed to harness its power effectively. Job shadowing as a form of on-the-job training is an invaluable opportunity for employees to step into the shoes of colleagues in different roles. By observing tasks like recruitment interviews, workflow processes, or client interactions, individuals gain a first-hand understanding of the skills, challenges, and responsibilities associated with various positions. For example, shadowing a human resources professional during a hiring process can reveal the nuances of candidate evaluation, helping an aspiring HR specialist identify the competencies they need to develop. This hands-on exposure is a practical way to explore career paths without committing to a full role change, making it a low-risk avenue for professional growth. In my opinion, job shadowing is particularly effective because it bridges the gap between theoretical knowledge and real-world application. Unlike formal training, which can feel abstract, shadowing immerses you in the day-to-day realities of a role. For instance, observing a colleague's communication style during client meetings can inspire new approaches to interpersonal skills, which are often critical for career advancement. A 2022 study in the Journal of Career Development noted that employees who participated in shadowing programs reported a 25% increase in career clarity, reinforcing my belief that this practice is a powerful tool for aligning aspirations with actionable steps. Moreover, job shadowing fosters networking within the workplace. By engaging with colleagues in different roles, employees build relationships that can lead to mentorship or collaboration opportunities. For example, shadowing a senior manager might open the door to discussions about leadership development, providing insights that shape long-term career goals. This relational aspect makes job shadowing not just a learning experience, but a catalyst for building a supportive professional network. On the psychological side, shadow work exploring the unconscious traits we repress offers a transformative path to self-awareness. By confronting aspects of ourselves we'd rather hide, such as insecurities or suppressed ambitions, we gain a deeper understanding of what drives our behaviors. For instance, an employee who frequently complains about a colleague's assertiveness might, through shadow work, realize they're projecting their own unexpressed desire to be more assertive. This realization can shift their perspective, turning criticism into motivation to develop new skills. I find this aspect of shadow work particularly compelling because it encourages authenticity. In a workplace where external pressures often dictate behavior, such as the need to appear professional or agreeable, shadow work allows individuals to reclaim their true selves. By acknowledging and integrating shadow traits, employees can make career choices that align with their values rather than societal expectations. For example, someone who discovers a suppressed passion for creative work through shadow work might pursue a role in marketing or design, finding greater fulfillment. A 2021 Journal of Positive Psychology study found that introspective practices like shadow work increased job satisfaction by 20%, supporting my view that this process can enhance both personal and professional well-being. Projection, a key mechanism in shadow work, is a fascinating lens for self-discovery. When we project our disowned traits onto others, such as judging a colleague's ambition as arrogance, we reveal hidden aspects of ourselves. Recognizing these projections through shadow work can transform workplace dynamics. For instance, an employee who feels irritated by a coworker's confidence might realize they've suppressed their own self-assurance due to fear of judgment. By addressing this, they can cultivate confidence, improving their performance and relationships. In my view, projection is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can create misunderstandings and conflict if left unaddressed. On the other, it's a powerful tool for growth when recognized and explored. Job shadowing amplifies this by providing opportunities to observe others closely, making it easier to spot projections. For example, while shadowing a sales manager, an employee might feel envious of their negotiation skills, revealing a hidden desire to excel in client interactions. This insight can guide targeted skill development, aligning career goals with personal strengths. Shadow work, whether psychological or practical, is not inherently good or bad. It's a tool whose outcomes depend on execution. On the positive side, it fosters self-awareness, skill development, and authentic career alignment. Job shadowing exposes employees to new roles, helping them make informed career decisions, while psychological shadow work uncovers barriers like fear or self-doubt that hinder progress. Together, they create a holistic approach to growth, blending practical experience with emotional insight. However, there are potential downsides. Psychological shadow work can be emotionally taxing, as confronting repressed traits like shame or insecurity requires vulnerability. Without proper support, such as therapy or mentorship, individuals might feel overwhelmed. Similarly, job shadowing can lead to feelings of inadequacy if employees compare themselves unfavorably to those they observe. For example, shadowing a highly skilled colleague might trigger self-doubt, reinforcing shadow fears of not being good enough. A 2020 Journal of Organizational Behavior study noted that poorly managed shadowing programs can increase stress by 15% if participants feel unsupported. To mitigate these risks, I believe shadow work must be approached with intention and structure. Employees should set clear goals for shadowing experiences, such as learning specific skills, and pair these with reflective practices like journaling to process emotions. Organizations can support this by offering guided shadowing programs and fostering a culture of openness where employees feel safe exploring vulnerabilities. For instance, providing debrief sessions after shadowing can help employees process their observations and emotional reactions, turning potential challenges into growth opportunities. To maximize the benefits of shadow work for career development, I recommend a balanced approach. Employees should start by identifying their career goals and selecting shadowing opportunities that align with them. For example, an aspiring project manager might shadow a colleague leading a team project focusing on skills like delegation. Simultaneously, they should engage in psychological shadow work, by reflecting on their reactions during these experiences. Journaling prompts like, what emotions arose while shadowing, or what traits in others triggered strong feelings, can uncover shadow elements that influence career choices. Organizations play a critical role in supporting shadow work by offering structured job shadowing programs and encouraging reflective practices. Companies can create environments where employees thrive. For example, hosting workshops on self-awareness or providing access to career coaches can enhance the psychological aspect of shadow work. A 2023 Harvard Business Review study found that organizations with supportive learning cultures saw a 22% increase in employee engagement, reinforcing the value of this approach. From my perspective, shadow work is a journey of courage and discovery. It requires facing uncomfortable truths, both about oneself and one's workplace dynamics, but the rewards are profound. I've seen colleagues transform their careers by embracing shadow work, whether by pursuing roles that align with their true passions or overcoming insecurities that held them back. For instance, a friend who shadowed a marketing director realized her envy of their creativity stemmed from her own suppressed artistic talents, leading her to transition into a creative role that reignited her passion for work. Ultimately, shadow work is about integration, blending the practical insights of job shadowing with the emotional depth of psychological reflection. When done right, it empowers individuals to navigate their careers with clarity and authenticity, turning challenges into opportunities for growth. Have you ever noticed a strong reaction while observing a colleague? Share your thoughts below and explore how shadow work could shape your career path. Subscribe for more insights on using shadow work to unlock your professional potential. Shadow work, the courageous journey of confronting and embracing the hidden aspects of our psyche, those impulsive, wounded, or isolated parts we often ignore, is a profound path to personal growth and authenticity. By peeling back the social mask we wear daily, we uncover a wellspring of emotions and vitality that, when acknowledged, can lead to deep healing and a more genuine life. Facing these shadow traits may feel uncomfortable, but it is an essential step towards self-awareness and transformation. Embracing this process with an open heart empowers us to break free from limiting patterns, align our careers and lives with our true selves, and build a future filled with purpose. As you reflect on your own shadow tonight, trust that this journey, though challenging, is a powerful act of self-love that paves the way for a brighter tomorrow. Sweet dreams and good night. May your rest be peaceful, filled with gentle insights that guide you toward embracing all parts of yourself. Sleep well, knowing that each step you take in shadow work brings you closer to a life of authenticity and fulfillment.